So often it's much better to refinish than to replace or rehab. Stay tuned for this one, everybody. Welcome back to the Your Little Castle Show. Again, with an expert here in the building who is helping me to understand the difference between, I said, what's the difference between rehab and refinish? And the simple answer is cost. But you're essentially taking what you already have and reusing it, making it look new.
Correct.
And not having to spend the money to buy a new shower.
Correct.
Fixtures, etc.
Correct. The beauty with refinishing is we salvage what you have there. I mean, we try to bring life back to what's there, whether it's a 100-year-old tub, whether it's just got a couple chips in it, or it's just hard to clean, versus replacing that, pulling it out, which is going to disrupt any walls around it, all of your plumbing. Sometimes that opens up, kind of a can of worms of how far do you take this, and the next thing you know, you're more money than you ever wanted to spend versus let's just refinish it, put a nice new acrylic urethane finish over it, and bring it back to life.
Yeah, so you're literally resurfacing the tub.
Existing.
It was an older tub that had taint. It kind of gets dingy.
And hard to clean, stains.
Okay.
Over time, that happens. Where customers are like, well, I just need to replace this, or I can't do nothing else with it. Well, we can come in with our patented process, actually bring that thing back to life. And we can change the color at that point if you want to go more of a bone and you got a white now. We've done black tubs, we've done blues. Color is irrelevant. We try to steer people to the point of what's going to be easier to take care of. Whites are usually the easiest to take care of. They don't show as much, things like that. So
okay, well, give a shout out here, Carroll House Furniture, because you like nice things in your little castle, and maybe Bob has been in there for a couple of reasons. First half hour we talked about wonderful work they do, glass doors and a touch of glass. And you can get a new glass door for your. This is a great way to save a lot of money, and to do that. So maybe you have the need after you got some nice furniture in your house. Bob comes in and helps you with his bathroom, because you like nice things, as we say, in your little castle. Brooke and I were hanging out yesterday at the Streets of St. Charles music event. I just saw him hanging out there. We could do our standard little picture together. But fun stuff. Let's get into this, because there's this. Bob is on the edge of some kind of revolutionary things. I just think, okay, if you're going to redo a bathroom, then it's a complete remodel. You're tearing everything out, and you're getting these bids like we talked about during the first show, $20,000, $30,000, and you're saying no, that's not necessarily what you do. First, if you just like to replace the door, great, we can make that easy. Talked about that in the first show. Or you want to refurnish things, refinish them, make them look like new. Do that with Miracle Method. Talk about that.
Correct. So, a lot of times we deal with a lot of older homes where, they've got some colored tile. Maybe it's a black and white bathroom. They don't want black and white anymore. Or they've got a yellow bathroom, pink bathroom. It's just showing its age. So we can go in and actually refinish that. And if they want it to be white, we'll just bring a nice clean white in. They can decorate around it. They can paint their walls whatever color they want. We can also finish back up, finish everything with a glass shower door. If the need arises, that's what needs to happen. We do more shower doors on showers than we do the tub area, for the natural thing. You can get by with curtains on tubs, but they still close things off.
Yeah.
In some of these older homes, they need to be felt like they're open. The tolerances of everything from new homes to the older homes, there's just something about the older homes, the character of all these homes. So we try to salvage what's there, put a new life back into it, and make it usable. We try to get rid of as much as silicone in the bathroom as possible. Silicone is a wear item. You have to dig it out. It molds and mildews, whatever the case is. So we try to get as much out of that bathroom as possible.
Well, that makes sense, because these days it gets very expensive to do any of these kind of remodeling jobs.
Yes.
And like I said, we had a pitch, and it was going to be like a quarter of the price of the house
right.
to get this done, or 20% of the price of the house. but no, but they didn't do refinishing, so they didn't want to talk about that.
Right.
But you're saying essentially take what's already still there, very
Mhm.
usable,
Mhm.
and resurfacing it and fixing these things up. How much does the average person save by
So
doing something?
the typical cost savings of refinishing versus replacement, you're going to be in the 65 to 70% range of cost savings because typically you don't have to do the plumbing, you don't have to gut all this stuff, you don't have to go through all these things. The time savings is another big one. We can usually do a bathroom, uh, depending on what we're doing in it, day and a half, 2 days. We're
wow.
out the next day, 24 hours after we leave, the bathroom is ready to use. So you don't have to worry about weeks of construction, people coming in and out of your home.
Yeah.
We're in and out of there and do our thing. All of my technicians are employees of ours. They're not subcontractors. On either business, they're all employees of ours. We don't, not saying there's not a need for subcontractors, but we know how these guys are trained. We know what they're due. There's a point of contact if something was to, either go wrong or if there's a question. So we always have access to pick up the phone, calling somebody. We've got a staffed office. People can always get a hold of somebody either by email or phone call, text message, whatever.
Well, then tell me a little bit what led you here again, but back to that background. You've been doing this now for 23 years.
23
led
years.
You, what you do with your other business with the
And really,
glass, but how is this? How did this come about? Why did you end up here?
Yeah, and really it was, what do people do in their bathrooms when they're dealing with old colors? Maybe they've got a fiberglass tub that's got a big hole in it. Instead of replacing that and adding, an element, a lot of these tubs, like say a fiberglass tub shower unit, is put in when they built the house.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got no seams, you got nothing. It's a one-piece unit. Well, you get a repair, you get damage in it. What do you do with it? Well, if you pull it out, you got to cut it up in pieces, and then what you put in has to be in pieces.
Right.
So then you add that element of silicone and lines and gaps that really you don't really want because it's not user-friendly. It's going to cause you more areas to clean, things like that. So we can come in, repair that area, and actually blend that color out or refinish the entire unit in a different color. And that's really what we strive to do, and it's really kind of been a passion of fixing people's problems. These houses, they get used. Sometimes a kid's bathroom, mom and dad don't go in there very often
Right.
until they say, hey, I've got a spot in the tub, well, and we go in there, we take care of it. And the last thing they want to do is spend $10,000, $15,000 when really they need to just this done, freshen it up in a day's time, and we're done.
Yeah, I didn't realize that because when, like in our case, and nobody really wants to be inconvenienced for a long period of time. But when you're talking about an Airbnb, this is going for $250 a night. Dude, that times 10 nights, that's $2,500 that they potentially lost. That they could have, even if they were only open for 80% of that, you're talking $2,000. Heck, they could have paid for a lot of the job. And you're saying this could be done in 1 to 2, 3 days. What's
Right.
the average?
So typical bathrooms, it's usually about a 2-day. Even one of our things on our website, on our vehicles, 2 days or less. Now you'll get into certain bathrooms that are going to be much longer, depending on what we're doing.
Yeah.
Size of bathroom, size of jobs, but that is the typical. A tub can be done in half a day's time if we're just refinishing a tub, and once we get to the location, that's really when the time starts. My guys go in there. They don't waste time. They go in there. They know what they're doing. They go in, head on down the road. So on to the next one.
Well, and we've heard the story about a bathroom I can play baseball in, but some of these bathrooms can be as big as a family room, I guess,
right.
and they've got multiple
Correct.
sinks and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. And really, no job is too small. No job's too big. We've done properties where we've done universities. We've done locker rooms at country clubs. So what we can do is just not for somebody's house. It could be used in a commercial setting where they hire a big contractor. They come in and they demo, and it's just, before you know it, you've wasted the entire budget for the entire year. So what we try to do is, even in homes, you got to look at if you cannot change the footprint of a bathroom, meaning they can't make that bathroom any bigger. The tub's always got to be in this location, the sink. why are you going to spend $25,000 on it?
Okay.
Just to put new stuff in the exact same spot. Let's look at, is this a fit for you? How can we accommodate this? Now we've gone in where we've just refinished the tub. They've gone ahead and put new tile up around it. Maybe there was some damage that was something we wouldn't take care of or what have you. They can put new tile up. We'll refinish the tub. It saved them a ton of money because they didn't have to go through the entire rehab. So sometimes it's, hey, maybe we're only doing part of it instead of the entire thing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, money is always at the core decision. I ask people what their biggest objection is. It's always, what's the price? What's it going to cost me? And some people may not even evaluate all of that to take in, well, this could have been done for half the cost and look better or like new versus something that, and how often do people buy something, oh, well, let's just throw in this kit. And the kit doesn't look near as good as what the original stuff was, but the original stuff is old and tethered, but they want to save money, and they could have refurbished something, brought it back to brand new, and way better than this kitchen little kit shower plastic stuff they've got, right?
Right, and we have had customers do that. We've also had customers and even contractors go in and try to do it themselves. Refinishing our process from the cleaners we use, they're biodegradable cleaners. They're not going to hurt the surface. We stress on how we put emphasis on how we do the process against versus what other people do. We do not bring anything harmful into your home. We get in there, get it done, and some of the homeowners that's tried to do this on their own, they're like, man, this stuff is rough. Well, they don't do it for a living.
Right.
And then in 6 months, it's coming off, it's peeling off. Well, you don't do it for a living. So it's like, it goes to show you when you're in something and you're trained to do it versus when you're not. Yeah, you're going to save some money, but you're actually cost yourself in the long run more money because now it looks worse.
Right.
Than if you just would have hired a professional, do it and get it done.
Yeah, that's back to that do it yourself, and then you have to do it again, and now you just cost yourself twice as much, if not more, because you're tearing out again and everything else that goes involved with that. These are not good decisions unless you're, and I don't know how many people want to get into all of what it takes to do this process. You can become YouTube, we call it YouTube certified, everybody. I watched 5 YouTube videos, and now I'm an expert.
Yes.
Except you lack the 23 years of experience that you learn from all the mistakes.
One of the old things are, people, how we strive is, you don't always pay for, that job, right? If I have a guy that's got 10 years of experience and he gets it done in this amount of time, well, it didn't take it as long. Well, he's got 10 years of experience.
Right.
You're also paying for the experience of what that individual brings to the table.
Yeah, so true. And there's so much that people just don't realize that goes into these things, and they're not. What back to what is your passion for this? Why do you enjoy this so much?
Just transforming people's bathrooms and taking care of the need, whether it's a color issue or, I know it is being a homeowner myself with kids, and kind of living life. And when you have an issue in a bathroom, we have a couple of different clientele. We have clientele that is always pursuing upgrading their house. All right, so maybe they'll get to the bathroom and they want to refinish everything. We've also got the clientele that everything's nice, but what happens when it gets damaged? Somebody drops something in the tub. We can go in and just do a small repair, because I know how it is from having kids and getting that, oh my gosh, what do I do now?
Right.
Because now I got a hole in the tub. Now in my head I'm thinking, well, this is going to cost me $5,000-$10,000 to pull this out. Well, with this, for a fraction of the cost, we can go in and do a repair, blend the color out, you're back in business. And it's a relief for customers to know that replacement isn't the only option.
Yeah, I'm just back into the just crunching numbers when you do that replacement. That's what a lot of these guys, that's what they offer, nothing against it. If that's what they can make a living at, they're offering a good service. You can spend 2 or 3, 4, 5, 10 times as much. The other show we talked about just getting a new glass door.
Right.
$1,000.
Right.
Everything looks brand new.
Right.
And can take care of it that way. We'll be back here. We're going to take a quick break, show you some of the fun stuff we're doing in the community. But we'll be back to talk with Bob here a little bit more, some secrets, some excitement, some of the stuff he does behind the scenes, and the cost analysis I'd like to share, and the biggest mistake people make, too, if we can get into that. We'll be back here in just a second, everybody. Giddy up.
I have
Hey everybody, we've got some baseball players in the building here. Who's your guys? All right, first of all, let's talk about who's your guys' favorite player? Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper. Tyler. Last now. Mason Wynn. Fernando Tatis Jr. Aaron Judge. Who'd you get? Bryce. All right, so we got a Cardinal fan in there. You guys are from the Misfits, right? You guys are from down close to Paducah, Kentucky, right? How long a drive was it to get up here? Only a couple. It wasn't that long. Hey, like I said, when you get older, you start playing big league ball and traveling all that stuff. It's gonna be a lot longer drives. It'll be okay for that. We're gonna pay you well. Okay? You ready? All right. So, why did you guys decide to come up here to see the Cardinals? Come on up here. Let's hear what they say. Why did you decide you want to go see the Cardinals? What's your name first?
Hunter.
Hunter. Why did you decide to come and see the Cardinals?
Because we're playing a tournament here.
Because you're playing a tournament here. What about you?
They decided to.
They decided to. Why did you decide to come up here? Are you one of the players?
They decided.
He's a bad boy.
He's a bad boy? Okay.
He's a bad boy.
All right, now.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey everybody, Cardinal Cowboy here. I want to invite all of you to be part of my new team. No, you don't have to put on a baseball uniform and be a super fan. Now, it would be a good idea to cheer for the Cardinals, the greatest team in the history of the National League. But I'm talking about the Gold Cowboy team. You know, I love to help people follow their dreams and reach their goals in business and in life. So that's one of the reasons why I'm telling you about my friends at My Metal Pro. They help people like you and I acquire gold and silver with a membership that lets you safely buy, sell, and store gold and silver. They make it real easy to get started. My Metal Pro isn't like the big guys you see on network TV or the big coin shops that take a huge commission. So become part of my Gold Cowboy team. Scan the QR code or go to goldcowboy.com and check it out. Giddy up!
Ladies and gentlemen, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Back to what we're talking about. There's a lot that goes into our community and bringing the leaders that we all get to know and love, sharing a little bit of what they do, and the baseball coaches that are making an impact there, and the teams that are driving all around the country to play baseball, which is the sport I think that gave me the most skills to come out of a coma, if you guys have heard the story there a little bit. But with that, let's jump back in here. A lot of great reviews for you guys already, too. You guys have been doing this for a little bit, and part of this network here that's been put together for you. But what's it make you? It's got to make you feel good here. 4.6, 82 reviews. Feel good about getting these, and you said you're working
Yeah.
already to you've already got a great score. Always looking for rooms to improve a little bit.
Yeah, we're really focusing on building a good core of guys that can go out and handle anything that comes their way, and really how people find us. Handling questions as they come along, things like that. So we can get more reviews. We understand there's so many people now that do nothing but looking at reviews. Find us online. It isn't the old. It isn't 10, 15 years ago. So we got to change the way of how people's finding us, how we interacting with people, and how we're responding to customers. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it isn't a phone call. Sometimes it is a text message or an email.
Right.
We find that people's aiming more towards the text messaging than even phone calls anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And you can handle a lot by a text message. So when you do that, it does speed things up, and as far as how you communicate with customers, and they appreciate the option of being able to do that. So with that, their whole journey of how they deal with us hopefully goes smooth. Also with text messages, less things get missed because you're actually can go back and read it and say, hey,
re-siphon through all
correct.
this.
So and so, hey, customer wanted whatever. Over the phone, it's a little bit different story. Sometimes it gets into, hey, I said this, or maybe I interpreted it this way.
Right.
So there's some pros and cons to it, but we're really focusing on how we're going to, use technology into where we're moving forward, whether it's Miracle Method or Touch of Glass. How are we going to use the technology to reach people, to increase our reviews, to increase our ratings, things like that. So
Very important, yes. I mean, it's a matter of just being out in the community, getting work done. You do need to stay in tune with those, and the reviews are always a good reflection of that. You've done a great job there. Tell me then, back to the cost analysis. We can analyze this from a numbers perspective a little bit. People can spend a lot of money to get a bathroom remodeled. You're saying you can cut that cost. What is the typical savings? Give me that cost.
So
bit of
typically,
cost breakdown.
you can save 65 to 70%.
Wow.
So we'll just say, for instance, if you're just doing refinishing a tub. So as of today, the price to refinish a standard built-in tub, the tub only is $645. Okay, we've done enough of those. We don't technically have to come out and see it. There's times where we go out, make sure what we're dealing with. That's the tub. Well, if you were to say, okay, a new tub costs $500 to buy brand new, that's just buying the tub and getting it to your house. You still have to remove the old tub. What walls do you have? What do you have to do around that?
Right.
So that $500 tub turns into, could be $5,000, because you may unpack a problem that you didn't think you had,
Right.
or something happens where you're like, oh my gosh, now what do I do? So we strive, okay, this is what it's going to be. Now, if we're going to be refinishing the walls, say in some of the older city homes where they've got a tub, 3 walls of tile directly around it, and I don't know if I got any pictures that would show
Is
show
this,
that.
so
No,
we're-
that'd be glass.
Yeah, let me go back here. Here's your photos.
Yeah. So if you've got a tub with 3 walls of tile around
Actually, we'll go back here.
it, yeah, you may maybe I'll see it on the website.
3 walls. Well.
Yep.
Okay.
So that you go, you got your 3 walls. Refinishing that, say to a white, or we've got a bunch of different colors. We got a product called Natural Accent where you can add, it'll look more like a stone finish. That's going to be in the neighborhood of $1,400-1,500, refinishing start to finish. That shower to replace, pull it out. I mean, you may be at $5,000 or 6 or so 7. You don't
And
know.
you could have with essentially
Correct.
the
Same results. All you're doing is taking that out
Okay.
and putting something brand new in. So once customers understand kind of what we do, what the refinishing actually accomplishes, it isn't just changing colors. It is, if you're dealing with tile, it will permanently seal all your tile. Okay, so all your grout lines become the same color as your tile, but nothing's going to soak in, cause you issues later down the road. So you won't get these dark, dirty grout lines or cause you issues behind the wall because moisture gets in there. This takes care of that. And yeah, the byproduct of that is everything is one color, whether it's white or one of those natural accent colors, But like on our homepage of our website, it's a classic example of 4x4 tile that's been refinished, and you still see that it's 4x4 tile, but
Is that what you're talking about here on the right
correct.
side?
Mhm.
Okay.
But it permanently seals, not allowing anything to soak into, and you can see it on that countertop right to the left there. You can see that it does take care of, and it makes it easier to clean, all that stuff. So, you know, we look at kind of the whole thing, but even a standard bathroom, you may be $2,500 to do refinish the entire bathroom, maybe $2,500, $3,000, and you're done. Versus if you got a whole bathroom, you could be at 15, 20, 30,000.
Yeah.
By the time you pick all your new fixtures and all this. And now I'm not saying if a customer wants to spend that, I can't tell them how to spend their money.
Right.
If that's what they want to do, we want to educate them on what we offer, so they've got two clear examples of what can be done in their bathroom. So
What's the real benefit? I'm trying to understand, what are they gaining? I mean, it's new stuff, but
new stuff. That is really the only thing that they're gaining by replacing it with brand new. Is now maybe they don't like the shape of their tile. If they don't like the shape of the tile, I can't change the shape of the tile, so it's still going to be there.
right.
So we've had customers say, "Well, I want more of the bigger tile. I can't fix it for you then." So that would go into, okay, well, then your next option is spending that extra money and redoing it. But we where we come in is we try not to have that happen. But you can't tell somebody how to spend their money. If that's what they want us to do, then that's how much they want to spend. Fine, but we're an alternative to that some people don't know exists.
Yeah,
And we've been in the business long enough, and people still don't know. It's one of those things until you have the need. So we want to still be out there in front of people. So we know how to get in front of people has changed in the last 10 or 15 years. So, you figure even a franchise that's been open since 1979, everybody would know us. But unless you have that need, you don't know we exist.
Yeah, well, your competitors aren't going to tell you this is what an option for you. They're like, hey, it's $30,000, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it,
Nothing in between, and until you realize it's similar. I kind
Right.
of feel good about my little show here because I produce, I edit, I do the graphics, I do the titles, but this saves people money, and people just don't even realize it's an option.
Correct.
And so in this case, you're going to have something that looks like new. It's going to be, and a lot of times, there's some of the stuff better built that was used 10, 15, 20 years ago. And you're bringing it back to that original?
Absolutely. A tub nowadays is not the same quality as it was 20, 30 years ago. Can you still buy good quality? Yes. But the price point changes when you do that.
Price point changes.
Like, say, the company Kohler, they still make a cast iron tub. It's expensive.
Well, there it is, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen. Another half hour. Stay tuned. You're watching the Your Little Castle Show. Giddy up.